Hey guys, back for another season preview. Weather is certainly a factor today, so we're indoors today here at Wheaton College. My name is Matt Noonan for another season preview video, and this time we're talking with the women's lacrosse team. Happened to start off with the women's head coach, Emily Kiablick. And Coach, hard to believe, as I said to the men's lacrosse coach, Jamie Lockard, earlier today, it's lacrosse season officially is begun. There's already a couple games in the books, and you guys are starting off in literally next week.
Yeah, the preseason has flown by. We've had a lot on our plate, a lot that we've wanted to accomplish. So it's really kept us moving throughout the preseason. Weather has also been a factor. You know, the fact that we haven't seen our new turf field as much as we'd like just because of weather conditions. You know, that kind of makes us feel a little bit more rushed, a little more anxious.
Let's talk about last season. Regular season champions, obviously a tough loss to BAPS in the semifinals here on your particular field. Would you consider that maybe motivation going into this upcoming season?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we really fell in love with winning, and the more you win, the more you want to win. And certainly the Babson loss, like as well as we played in that last game, it definitely left a bitter taste in our mouth, and it's been hugely motivating in our off season and then throughout our preseason.
And let's talk about preseason. You mentioned here too, again with weather maybe being a little bit of a factor here, maybe not getting out. And also one thing, you guys are playing on a brand new turf field this year. And from someone who's covered lacrosse, I've always felt that turf fields, playing on turf is faster. It's a little different game than it is on grass. But just kind of maybe talk about preseason and also the fact that hey, this year you have a brand new turf field to play on.
Yeah, I think the turf field really just matches the academic programs that the school offers, the caliber of recruits that we bring in. You know, while we've sort of liked playing on our grass field, we felt a little tough that, we're the only team that plays on grass. It is time that, our surface really matches the caliber that is brought in every other aspect.
And sticking with the preseason theme here too, you bring back, here you got some juniors and seniors that have been out on the squad, part of a team that won the ECAC championship a few years ago that you guys were part of, the New England's to be exact, just to clarify. And then we're on the team last year that were part of the regular season champions, so they've got some experience, and obviously they're hungry especially for the seniors to cap their kind of senior careers with some additional hardware. Can you just kind of talk about the seniors and the leadership qualities that they bring that are going to be a big factor this year going into the season?
Sure. I'll start with our captains, Devin Soucier and Leela Mills. They're both all New England players. Leela was New MAC Player of the Year. So they're leaders in every sense of the word, but it does go a long way when, they're your best players and they're really setting an example in terms of hard work, skill, and discipline every single day. And then we have three others in that class. Anya Sokolova, who's joined us last season, and she started out her career playing soccer here, and she's just been a great addition and really works hard. She's one of our best lifters, most fit players. And then Haley Bright and Hannah Whitley are terrific players. They both, can play defense primarily, also can run the midfield, and in terms of consistency and strength, really that comes from our senior class this year.
And of course, you also need some underclassmen too to make up the team too. Talk about maybe some of the first-year players that are coming in, and just kind of maybe also some players who were freshmen last year who are now sophomores, just kind of similar to what they're going to bring to the team this year.
Sure. Our freshman class is small, but they definitely add a lot. They're very fit. They're really dedicated to the sport, and they've sort of already bought into being a Lion. They're not really caught in their high school days anymore. They've turned the page. So we have a really, strong freshman class. I think they'll all get opportunity. I can definitely see some of them really making an impact early on. And then our sophomores have really turned the corner. They all had great years last year. And this year, they're all stronger, faster, more skilled, and really looking to take a lot of ownership onto their shoulders. So it's nice to see.
Switching gears now here, Coach. Let's talk about the conference and just kind of your conference schedule before we talk about the non-conference foes in a second here. But it just seems that every year the new MAC gets stronger and stronger. And, of course, you guys are always there competing and are always in the mix with the Springfields, the Babsons, and, of course, the other squads here, too. Just talk about what you guys are going to do to accomplish in the new MAC this year.
I completely agree. I think the NUMAC is a very competitive conference, and it was coming down to the last games last year, not knowing really where people would be seated. Babson obviously is a terrific team. To have them coming into last season's tournament as the 3 seed was just sort of, just went to show they were an amazing team, and for them to be ranked like really that low goes a long way to show that it's become very, very competitive, and really it's anyone's regular season championship, anyone's tournament championship. We're obviously eyeing that pretty hard. We know what we accomplished last year. We know that we really want to take it one step further. So for us, that means a tournament championship. But we know that everyone's very strong, and people are going to have great recruiting classes, and we just need to be prepared to play the best Wheaton lacrosse that we can.
And switching gears, as I mentioned a second ago, the non-conference slate this year, you certainly have got a lot of good dates to mark on your calendar too. And every game, doesn't matter whether it's a new MAC game or the non-conference games, those are I'm sure you can allude to, those are important contests here too. Talk about how these non-conference games that feature some teams that were in the tournament last year or have been in the tournament in previous years, how they're going to help you when you get into new MAC play and help you again against new MAC play.
Yeah, since I've been at Wheaton, we've kind of come full circle with that. I thought early on in my career here that our strength of schedule was a little too hard. I thought we were sort of okay with not winning those games. And so I don't think we dumbed it down too much, but we kind of got some games that were a little bit more competitive for us at that time. But now we're in a place where doing so well in the NUMACs last year, we want to make sure that our toughest competition comes from out of conference. We don't want there to be any surprises. We want to use those out of conference games to prepare us for the conference games. And so I think adding a lot of the NESCACs back on our schedule is it's just a real turning point for us. Like, we know that we're going to have to be very strategic in the way we play those games, but that's absolutely what we're going to do. Always playing to win, and recognizing when you probably shouldn't get in a running race with a team, and being very methodical about how you approach that game.
We can wrap this up here, Coach. Just kind of maybe talking about some of the other strengths that you may have not harped on or may have not talked about, whether it's certain players or just certain qualities that your team possesses that's really going to be key starting the season off, next weekend, literally a week from this upcoming weekend, believe it or not, and just how you guys are going to build on that.
I don't think I talked about my juniors yet, so I can... Most of the juniors were just abroad in the fall. So with that, I'd say brings sort of a new experience that, you wouldn't necessarily think it's applicable to lacrosse, but it ends up being very applicable. They tend to look at the game a little bit differently after having that experience. So, and then obviously our goalkeeper is a junior now, so she had a great season last year. It's just nice to see her in more of a leadership role this year. I think our team is very different this year. I think our strength's going to be just a real team game and really utilizing each other, and no one really putting the team on their back and carrying them through any times, like recognizing that when we gel and when we click, that's when we're going to be at our best. So, we have a lot of organization. We spend a lot of time in the classroom because we know we all need to be on the same page to be successful.
Well, Coach, I wish you best of luck. Hard to believe, again, it is lacrosse season. And I do have to end on one last thing. I did have to say, you guys are also on social media to just kind of talk about anything special we need to look out for on your Wheaton Twitter handle or your other social media platforms?
I think we're going to try and do a better job of keeping people updated with games. I think we do a fairly good job with it, but we went out and hired 2 managers this year just to make sure that, our games are really covered well, so when we're busy, they're going to be in a position to really tout our accomplishments. So, but yeah, definitely follow us this spring because we'll keep you entertained.
Looking forward to it, Coach. Thanks again for Coach Kiablick. My name is Matt Noonan. For more on the women's lacrosse team, head on over to athletics.wheatoncollege.edu.